Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Friday. It is Aloha Friday. I am back here for the third card of this series that we started on Wednesday, which is sometimes Self-Care Wednesday, but it's whatever you want it to be. But it's self-love. I know, we don't have to shuffle, right? Because it's the last one. But it's self-love, and I absolutely love this card because I really feel like when you achieve this beautiful state of self-love, that it's just very, very, I guess, ethereal in its own way. You know, it's like a out-of-body experience, probably. I say probably. You know what? I do have self-love, but sometimes I struggle with it still. So it's kind of like, woo, I want to get to this point where you just feel like you're floating in the wind and you know that no matter what gets thrown at you, it's going to be okay. Okay. So let's just jump right into it. 24. Card number 24. Here we go. Oh, that's patience. Patience is right before self-love. Excuse me. Oh, God, I've been having coughing fits all morning. You know, I have to say, just as a side note, it really sucks to get a cold because I haven't had a cold in like a month now, but I still have the stupid cough. So anyways, take time to get to know yourself and what works for you in this particular cycle of your life. So again, take time to get to know yourself and what works for you in this particular cycle of your life. Some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism and perfectionism, which lead to harsh judgment of the self, closing down, and eventually illness. Have you been trying to compete with others, get approval from people in your family, or simply pushing yourself too hard? If so, you need to soften and start listening to your body. Focus on keeping your heart open and practice acknowledging and recognizing the good in yourself and others. This card beckons you to breathe love in and out every moment of the day. Ask yourself, what changes do I need to make to my daily routine so that love can pulsate through every breath, action, and relationship I engage in? Choose to open your heart through softness, deep breathing, relaxation, movement, finding beauty in nature, in your home, in your pain, in your love, in your sadness, in prayer, etc. Keep your heart open, though it may make you feel vulnerable and exposed. So we'll go back through this and then we'll get to the action for this, all right? Self-love is huge. Self-love is, I believe, true love, right? I mean, yeah, there's all different kinds of love out in this world. There's all kinds of different true love in this world. But as Oscar Wilde once wrote, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. I may have not quoted that absolutely correct, but it's one of my favorites, but it's my brain. I think I coughed out all the knowledge. But anyways, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's to love oneself is the beginning of the lifelong romance. But, and it's true because in order to give love, we have to know how to love. In order to receive love, we have to know how to love. And self-love is the biggest step you're ever going to take towards that. It is going to be a game changer for you. It is going to really kind of rock your world, right? It is going to show you that, you know, no matter what gets thrown at you, that you can handle it. That, you know, even if it's hard and it makes you feel frustrated and lonely and blah, 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 that this too shall pass. All right. So some of the biggest obstacles to self-love, actually, we'll start with the little headliner. Take time out to get to know yourself and what works for you in this particular cycle of your life. All I got to say about that part is that's where healing comes in. That's where healing comes in. If you are going through an awakening or if you're going through a lot of different things, getting to know yourself in the cycle that you're in is going to be very and extremely beneficial to you because you have to know where you stand in order to move to the next cycle, in order to move on to that next moment, to that next phase of that awakening or, you know, your healing, however you want to put it. So when you're on that healing journey, you have to trust yourself enough to see, you know, the bigger picture. Don't live in it just yet, because if you spend too much time in there and you don't get there in the time you think you should get there, you're going to fall apart and it's going to be harder and harder and harder because you're putting all that pressure on yourself. So see the big picture, manifest, set intentions, pray for that big picture, and look at it, but don't spend so much time looking at it that you just kind of, put yourself in there and then forget that there's still a journey to be had. Okay, so some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism and perfectionism, which leads to harsh judgment of the self, closing down, and eventually illness. One of my personal beliefs, and I never truly believed this before, and then somebody gave me a book, and then somebody else gave me a different book that talked about how our illnesses can be physical manifestations of pain, hurt, struggle, anger, all these different things. For instance, if your ankle is feeling kind of wobbly, say you have a big argument with someone, you know you're wrong, but you refuse to admit that you're wrong. And so you really let your pride and your ego get away. And then all of a sudden your ankle starts to hurt, or maybe it might roll a little bit. Believe it or not, I'm pretty sure it was the ankle. It could be the knee. That's the ego. But one of those two joints, it's a physical manifestation of that pride, of that ego. So I do apologize for not knowing. Usually I know this stuff, and I even have a chart somewhere that says all this, but it's Friday, okay? Give me a break. It's been a long week. Anyways, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Let me turn off my fan. There we go. So anyways, so that's really something to look towards. And, I know you're probably saying, oh, so you're saying that this happened because of this? No, everybody has their own beliefs. Okay. This is my belief, for me. And I know that, whenever I have a pain that makes no sense to me and is really kind of coming out of the blue, I look it up to see if, is this something I need to journal about? And then it does go away. It does go away. So, that doesn't mean that is a fix for not having to go to the doctor. Go to the doctor if you need help. Okay. I am all about going to the doctor if you need it. Okay. Yeah. So this is not a replacement for medical advice. This is just sometimes if you're walking and, something bad happens and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, there might be an explanation, but that also doesn't mean that there might be something more going on. So again, that's my disclaimer. This is not a replacement for medical attention and medical advice. If you need help, see your doctor. Okay. Always seek that professional help. Let's see. Have you been trying to compete with others, get approval from people in your family, or simply pushing yourself too hard? I think the big one there, the one that's really standing out to me, is getting approval from family, especially if you have a rough family situation. If you have a rough family situation, you are constantly trying to prove yourself to other people. And to be honest with you, you don't need to prove to yourself to anyone but you. Okay? I mean, I think when we try so hard to prove ourselves to one group of people, another group of people may suffer in the long run, because you're going to project. And projecting is not good, because you don't want to project on the people you're trying to impress. So you're going to project on the people that you feel are already impressed by you, or that you feel are just going to always be there. And let me tell you, it doesn't, you are going to push and push and push and push and push until you push someone away. So you need to find that balance. We do not need anybody else's approval but our own. If we get somebody else's approval, in my personal opinion, that is a bonus. And yes, I sound like I'm preaching to you, because I have to tell you, I have said this so many times to so many different people, including myself, and I am my worst critic. I sit here and tell people what other people think of me is none of my business, and yet I feel judged. A lot. I feel kind of like, well, maybe they're looking at me like this, or maybe, and I shouldn't care. That's where self-love comes in. I don't need anyone else's approval but my own. I don't need anybody to just, want to be my best friend because they think it'd be, it beneficial to their life. Be my best friend because we get along. Be my best friend because, we go out and, just have a great time, or, we can live in the highs, we can live in the lows, and in the middle, we're still there. and being there for one another. That's what friendship is about. That's what family is supposed to be about. If you feel like you have to compete with another family member, if you feel like you have to get approval from another family member and they're not receptive and all they do is make you jump through hoops, you really need to reevaluate that relationship. You really, really do. And I have been fortunate that I don't feel like I have to jump through hoops with my family or my friends. You know, you get what you get. I am who I am. And that part of me has always been the case. You know, I'm a little bit goofy. I'm a little bit silly. I'm a little bit tense sometimes. From time to time, I can get moody. And everybody still sticks by me. You know, the people that, well, not everybody, you know, we lose people along the way that are meant to be in our lives only for a season. But the ones in the long run, those are the people that get you through. That's your support crew, you know. So again, do not place your worth and your value in somebody else's hands. You have to be the one who works on that self-love. You have to be the one that sees you first, that knows you first, and believes in you first. Everybody else, again, it's a bonus. It's a bonus. That's where the magic comes in. That's where that's where your hard work shows, right? That people care about you, that they see this glimmer of somebody that they know has all this potential. And let them see that. Keep the people who build you up. Let go of the people that tear you down. And that doesn't mean you have to let go of them forever. What you have to do is move away while you help yourself, while you heal yourself, while you fix yourself. Because people who try to hold you down and hold you back are people who probably need to heal themselves, but don't know how. And so they'll become jealous of you. They'll become, envious of the work you've done, and they'll just want to bring you down and keep you where you're at so they can always feel better than you. And nobody is better than anybody else. We all bring something beautiful and wonderful to this table. And that's something that we have to remember in our heads and in our hearts. Sometimes our heart knows, but it takes a while for the brain to catch up. Okay. So, or it says here, so, have you been trying to compete with others, get approval from people in your family, or simply pushing yourself too hard? If you're all of those, you need a break. Okay, you need to take a step back and take a break and just, let somebody hug you hard. Okay. So, if so, you need to soften and start listening to your body. Focus on keeping your heart open and practice acknowledging and recognizing the good in yourself and others. When you're able to recognize the good in yourself, you stop projecting onto other people and you start seeing the good in the people that are trying to be there for you. You start seeing the good in the people that want to be there for you, that want to help you through on your journey. So again, it's not about trying to compete with other people. It's not about trying to, get the approval of your family or friends. It's not about, pushing yourself so hard, especially if they don't see you. Self-love is huge, and that's where it comes from. It comes from in here, and it has to come from you first. So, the next paragraph. This card beckons you to breathe love in and out every moment of the day. Ask yourself, what changes do I need to make to my daily routine so that love can pulsate through every breath, action, and relationship I engage in? So, like I said, I'm not religious, but I was raised Catholic, and every Lent, my mom and I would do this together, even though, I have my own spiritual beliefs now. But, for me, I gave up worrying because I noticed the other day when I woke up, the first day of, this 40 days, the first day I woke up, it's like, oh my God, I worry so much. It wasn't even 6 o'clock yet. And I had enough worry to fill up an entire page of a journal. So I thought, this is going to be good for me. And so every time I feel a worry coming up, I simply say, everything's going to work out for the greater and highest good. Okay, everything's going to work out for the greater and highest good. But that's my action. So if you want to breathe love in and out of something, move through the feeling, move through the moment. People might say, oh, you're complaining. To me, venting and complaining are two different things. Venting is going through something and working it out of your system, and it may take a couple of days, it may take a week. Complaining is where it's already fixed, it's already done, but you're still going on about it down the road. And that's not good for your energy either. That's going to put a wrinkle in your energy. That's going to put a kink in that energy hose, right? And that's not what you want. So what you want is that you want to breathe the love in and out of these moments and move through them. Don't just shove them down. Move through the moments. Move through the emotion. Move through the anger, the sadness, the pain, the happiness, the joy, all these things. Move through whatever emotion it is you are feeling. And if it is, anger, sadness, or, one of those thing or pain, move through it, figure out what it is you need to heal in that moment and keep going on. Good morning, Allie. So let's see. Choose to open. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so stuffy. So, good morning, older sibling. I see you are on too. Choose to open your heart through softness, deep breathing, relaxation, movement, finding beauty in nature, in your home, in your pain, in your love, in your sadness, in prayer, etc. Keep your heart open, though it makes you feel vulnerable and exposed. That's the hard one for me. I have to tell you, keeping my heart open and feeling vulnerable and exposed. When you go through some of the things I've been through in life, some of the traumas, and a lot of people have, I'm not saying it's just me, but it can be pretty, yeah. Oh, Allie's suggesting, what is that? Mullein and tea, thyme tea from Amazon. Yes, that can help too. That can actually help. Tea is great. Okay, if you have a favorite tea, just be careful before you go to bed, because check the caffeine content, because you don't want to be up all night either. But a lot of herbal teas are wonderful, especially before, when you're trying to meditate, and sometimes even if you just want to get like one of those potpourri pots, right? And just kind of steep your tea in that. You don't have to drink it. You can just smell it and let it kind of waft around you and bring you into a place of wonderful meditation. So tea has all kinds of uses, all right? Yay for the tea tree and the tea leaves and all the people who manage to, be all sciencey about it and put all these different things together. So when it says choose to open your heart through softness, deep breathing, and relaxation, if you're going to meditate, oh, she says it's for my congestion. Yeah, I've tried the tea and nothing's working. It's just, I'm a snot factory. I'm an absolute snot factory. And, but I will try that mix. I'll try that mix from Amazon, because I would love to just get rid of this. But the tea thing is good for if you want to meditate. But yes, thank you, Allie, for that. I'm gonna, after this, I'll probably see about going down to the store and looking for some, see if I can get it faster than Amazon tomorrow. So, again, choose to open your heart through softness, deep breathing, and relaxation. That can be meditation. If you want to add movement to that, that could be yoga, tai chi, qigong, all these different things. And you can bring everything together with those, different practices. I've always wanted to try yoga, but I have done qigong, and I really love that, because it's, it opens up your chi, it opens up, and it's great movement, but it's also very relaxing. It kind of brings you back to center. I need to start doing that again. You can go for a walk and find the beauty in nature. You can look, if you're not feeling well, or you don't want to go outside, or maybe the weather is not permitting, you can look around in your home at the things that make you happy. Maybe there's memories of things. I actually, something fell off my shelf over here to the side, and I forgot I had an album that my aunt gave me of my parents' wedding. And then when my dad was shipped overseas for duty, but this is way before I was born. My parents were married about 5.5 years before my mom even got pregnant. So that being said, I forgot I had this, and it was a beautiful look back into, their wedding and, their trip to Holland. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to Google it later, but I'm pretty sure they may have been to Anne Frank's house. To which I ask myself, why are these people not telling me about these adventures they had before I was born? You know, they used to hate it because when I was a kid, what do you want to do this weekend? It's Shelley's pick. I want to watch all your slides from Europe. And at some point they got so bored, they lied to me and told me that the slide projector broke. They admitted that later. I'm like, you know, you guys kind of suck. All right. It's like, you've had all these adventures. Let me share in them. So these are things that you can find in your home. It could be a painting on the wall or a picture you had with a friend. You know, whatever it is. The next thing, choose to open your heart through your pain. That's where healing comes in. When you have a pain, we can either sit there and stare at it in the face or try to run away from it. Or you can just face it head on and embrace it and say, look, you know what? I've got to move through this so I can heal it and get past it, because it's not worth hanging on to anymore. And it's not, because it's a lot of times when you hold on to that pain, it can become something completely different. And it can become a lot bigger than you want it to be. And sometimes a lot bigger than it started out to be. So pain is scary. It is ugly. We don't like to face it because it's painful, right? It hurts. And, you know, it's not something that we just say, hey, look there's my pain. Let's go have a beer. No, you're like, maybe you should, you know, hey, pain, let's go have a beer. No, don't, because numbing pain with alcohol is not a good idea. But what I mean is just taking it out, you know, like going out and just having a chat. So that's where journaling and all these other things can come in for you. But you have to move through your pain in order to heal it. So choose to open your heart through love. That one's obvious. Through prayer. And in your sadness. In your sadness. It's the same thing with the pain. You know, don't numb it. Don't numb it with things. Like, I numb my pain with food. I'm getting better at it. I keep falling off the emotional eating wagon, but, you know, I keep getting back on. So that's progress for me. But, yeah, don't numb your pain or your sadness with other things. I know easier said than done. But I know that emotional eating, even though it is an eating disorder and one of the lesser known eating disorders, it's not the same as, you know, being an addict of, you know, the harder stuff. And, you know, I toe a fine line on that one because I don't want to offend anybody who has been through these programs. But emotional eating is hard in one way, that we have to have food to survive. So it's the same process of having to work through, you know, I'm needing this for sustenance and to maintain my health, but I don't need it to, you know, feed my feelings, you know, or drink my feelings away or shoot up my sadness away. And, you know, so even though they are very different things, the addiction part is where it really kind of sits, and it's all in here. It's all the addiction part of your brain, and of course your body gets addicted. So yeah, mad props to the people that make it through these programs and stay clean, because I have known people. I've known one wonderful, beautiful, amazing human being who I know for a fact went to rehab a few times. And I know that they were never shy about their story. Older sibling, who is my best friend, it was her mom. And she was like another mom to me. And I look to her sometimes. She's since passed away for quite a long time now. But sometimes when I'm struggling and wanting to say no to something because I know it's just feeding my feelings, I try to look to her and think, wow, this woman was so strong after such a long battle. And she did it, so I can do it, you know, because I know how hard it was for her. Her and I had talked about it, you know, how it was, some days were harder than others. Some days it was like, ooh, that temptation really kind of, you know, sneaks up on you. But she moved through, and her inspiration to stay sober was her child, was older sibling. So, you know, she says on those days she would look to her to remind herself why she, you know, she doesn't take that drink. So, older sibling, if you did not know that, you know that now. And so there, keep your heart open, though it may make you feel vulnerable and exposed. Everything is vulnerable and exposed. If you really stop and think about it, when you walk outside, you are vulnerable and exposed. Why do you think some people become recluses in their homes? Because they think it's safer there. They're afraid to go outside. You know, I mean, you could walk outside, a wind could pick up, and you might get hit by a stick in the leg. And it could be bad, or it could just be like superficial, right? But we're always vulnerable and exposed. So when you stop and kind of break it down in that respect, you start looking at it in the way that, oh, well, my heart may be open and vulnerable and exposed, but that's okay because I'm here to protect it. I'm here to use my spidey instincts to push away what, does not serve my purpose, my life, or my energy. Keep the good things in your life. Keep the positive things around you. And if it's like going outside, like I said, and that stick comes rolling at you, you can move out of the way or you can stand there and get hit. Use your spidey instincts. Use your instincts, your intuition. Everybody has it. No matter what your beliefs are, everybody has that intuition. And as long as it's not being manipulated by something else, you're going to be able to hear it because your intuition, it is solely yours. Think of it as like your child. Okay, whether you have kids or not. I don't have kids, but whether you have kids or not, think of it as like a child that needs to be nurtured. And when, you're good, you do well by nurturing this feeling inside of you, it is going to serve you as well. Okay, so here we go, the action, and then we're done. This week, this is your week. Well, it's Friday. This is your, God, here we go. Oh, my brain. Okay. So this week is your opportunity to learn to receive. So you can do this throughout the weekend if you're not, and move it if you want, and move it into next week. I do have a TikTok page, and on that page I will do the shorter version of this, so it won't be all this yammering I'm doing right now. So we'll just go through it, and then that way you can follow through on the action. So this week is your opportunity to learn to receive. Anytime anyone says something nice to you or offers to help you, take a deep breath, thank them, and accept. You need to find something loving or nurturing to do for yourself. This could be a massage, a healing treatment, or a movie with a friend. Every time you look in the mirror, repeat, I am lovable. I am lovable. Do this every day until you really believe it. Now, if you don't have anyone to hang out with yourself, right? On Valentine's Day, older sibling was sick, dad was under the weather, and so we usually meet in the middle for breakfast sometimes when we go to see my dad, and everybody was under the weather, and I'm like, I canceled a movie to have breakfast only to not have breakfast. And at first I was upset, and then I reminded myself, get over yourself, okay, because there are other options, and I took myself to the movies. So there you go. I usually go to the movies by myself, but this was different because older sibling and I were supposed to go, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pivot and see something else. See something that she doesn't want to see. And I did, and I had a great time, and it was a very empowering, girl empowering movie, right? So look in the mirror and remind yourself, I am lovable. And learn to pivot. Learn to do things for yourself. Learn to be your own hero. There's nothing wrong with being your own hero. We have to be our own hero every day, right? If you suffer from a dinged up mental health like I do, sometimes you gotta be your own hero to get out of bed sometimes. I gotta be your own hero to get on here and share your be open with the world about all your damaged bits, because it's going to help somebody else. Be your own hero, because you never know. While you're being your own hero, you might actually be being a hero to somebody else, and you may not even realize it. They may be following your actions. They may see you, and you may be leading by example without even realizing it. So take care of you. Take care of your self-love. Do not put everything I say is my own opinion and my own feelings about things and how I think that it can help people. But I will tell you this right now, and this is not something that is an opinion or how I deal with things. It is how I deal with things, but I'm telling you this because I think it's a good rule of thumb to live by and a very, very good tip to live by. Do not put your worth in someone else's hands. Do not put your validation in somebody else's hands. Because if you put it in the wrong hands, they're going to tear down your worth, and they're going to tear down your value, and they're going to rip your self-love to shreds if you let them. And sometimes it's not even about letting them. Sometimes we put so much value into what other people think about us that when they do say something horrible back to us, or they try to tear us down because they have an inability to move forward in their life and heal, it is going to wreck you. And you are going to start thinking things about yourself that are probably and most likely absolutely not true. And I say probably and most likely absolutely not true because a lot of us have healing that we have to do. Find the people who are supportive. Find the people that say, look, maybe this could have been handled better, but what's going on? Older sibling loves to bottom line things with me when I start to get a little carried away with my attitude. She'd be like, all right, let's bottom line this. What's going on with you? Why? Because I don't know how to ask for help. I'm very bad at asking for help. So I take the long road around. I take the circle around until, I'm being such a dick that somebody finally realizes, wait, something's not right with her because she's usually in a good mood. What's going on? And I'm learning. That's why it says here, when somebody offers you help, take it. Take it. Actually, that was in here. I'm pretty sure that was in here. Sorry. Somewhere in here, something I read today, something I was writing or reading or whatever today, said that if somebody offers you help, take it. And maybe it is in here. So anyways, I don't want to keep you longer than I have to. So yeah, oh, duh, here it is. Anytime anyone says something nice to you or offers to help you, take a deep breath, thank them, and accept. They don't always have to offer that to you. Sometimes you can just say, you know what, I could really use an ear right now. And if you can't find anybody, journal it. Journal it. This is why I have 5,000 journals and 200 million gazillion pens. Because I know there's always going to be some kind of writing utensil around me that I need to have around me to get this stuff out. And I'm telling you, if it's something that's stuck in my head, I will carry this journal with me everywhere I go. I have a purse big enough for that reason. I use big purses because I can carry my journal in it if I have to, and all my little pens that fit conveniently into a tiny little stack. And that's just some of them, okay? Those are the pens that go in here. So my little pen holder. So yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Love yourself. Treat yourself well. Be kind to yourself, okay? Self-love comes from in here. Quiet the brain, quiet the outside voices, and remind yourself that you are a beautiful human being and that you deserve love and respect. And it needs to come from you first, all right? Self-worth, self-love, self-respect. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Allie and Laura for coming on live. And yeah, just think about these things, okay? I'll be back here Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public on the Aloha Perspective. I do upload them to YouTube under the Aloha Perspective. And of course, as I mentioned before, I do kind of the quick convenience store option or drive-through option of the Aloha Perspective on TikTok, where I just kind of go through it really quick, share one or two thoughts that may have rolled out of this show, and then move on my way. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and have a safe and wonderful weekend.